There's a famous joke in the AI community. A machine learning algorithm walks into a bar and it says, "I'll have what all of you are having." There are many enormous challenges created by AI, and some of those challenges have pretty scary outcomes for humanity if left unchecked. But let's put things in perspective for a moment. AI is still a technology that, for all the hype around it, is very much still in its infancy. This is a technology that, for most of the time, in spite of all the enormous value it's creating for us already, is quite parrot-like in its ability to interpret the world. How many people in this audience right now have a smartphone? Put up your hand. That's pretty much all of you. If you have a smartphone, you are already using AI. AI is built into pretty much all of the apps and services that you're using today, and the world hasn't ended yet. Good news. Now, even though AI is great now, yes, it could absolutely create problems in the future, no question about that. But we have to stay calm and put that in perspective. Here's the thing, though. Lots of people are refusing to stay calm. They are not putting things in perspective. I used to work at the United Nations. It's where I started my career. One of the most curious things was at the UN every single year, a whole bunch of people turn up to campaign for a ban on killer robots. Think of everything wrong with the world today. The threat of climate change, the fear of nuclear proliferation, the fact that we're living through the greatest humanitarian catastrophe in history, the global refugee crisis. Really, killer robots is the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning and gets you really angry. Okay, that sounds like you've lost perspective to me. And I think part of the reason that people have lost perspective is because they have chosen to focus on the problems with technology and not the underlying social and economic and political challenges that in many cases have led to those limitations of technology. Yes, there is no question that with AI there is the potential and the reality sometimes of having biases built in, limitations in the way we have built that technology. But that is a reflection not of an inherent problem with AI, the technology. That is a reflection of a diversity problem built into our tech industry, which is in and of itself a reflection of our deeply divided society, riddled with social inequalities. Yes, there is the potential for killer robots and that Russian robot army to be a real problem one day. But that's not a problem, again, necessarily because of AI. That's a problem in our international system. Why is it that nation states are seeking weapons of war to dominate the world? Why is it that we have that kind of instability built into the way the world is ordered? These are questions that are much harder to solve. And because of that, many policymakers would much rather blame it on tech and focus the conversation just on the technology. So if you're looking for the tech industry or AI practitioners to solve all of our problems with AI, I'm sorry to say you're probably deluding yourself. The problems that we face are societal, and in order to solve them, we need a much larger conversation in our society about how to go about doing that. And that means we need people in the tech industry to work together with leaders, people who are working in governments and policymakers. Now, here's something that actually does concern me a lot more than those potential Russian robots, and that's the fact that most politicians are generally quite bad at making decisions about technology. Just a couple of years ago, you had the spectacle of Jean-Claude Juncker, the head of the European Commission, joking that he carries around an aged Nokia smartphone, dumb phone, doesn't carry a smartphone, doesn't have emails, gets his advisors to print off his emails so he can read them. Literally, this is one of the most powerful politicians in the world, overseeing a vast apparatus dedicated to regulating tools exactly like AI. This is a guy who doesn't even know how to check his Hotmail. So, is that the kind of person you want making decisions about the technology and the services that are going to power the future of our world and that are powering all those apps that you have on your phones? I think we need to do better as a society in demanding that our politicians actually understand the technology they are talking about, a revolutionary concept. Now, ultimately, I'll say this. AI, like all technology, like all tools, can be used for good or for evil. Technology in and of itself is not evil. It is simply a tool. It is neutral. A hammer can be used to bash someone's skull in, or it can be used to build a house. AI is the most powerful hammer of them all. In this century, AI may well crush our society if the worst fears are left unchecked, but it may also allow us to build absolutely extraordinary things as a society if we choose to realize the potential and the opportunities there, if we choose to take a best-case scenario and not the gloomy doomsayer view. As a society, I think we can do that. I think the tech industry and politicians and leaders like you should be working together to make that happen, and I'm looking forward to the debate tonight to see how we can do that. Thank you.